Absolute Flash versus Heatwave. Wally stares in shock at the magma-covered monster before him and takes a step back in fear. But he looks into the creature's eyes and suddenly feels like he knows him. Slowly, he reaches out his hand, but energy suddenly crackles around them and leaps from Wally's body, hitting the monster and knocking it across the sewer tunnel, slamming it into the wall. The monster slowly gets back to its feet and glares at Wally. Hurt, it growls. It raises an arm and launches lava towards Wally. But the energy crackles around Wally again, and he is moving at super speed, zipping out of the way of the lava and looping from the floor to the ceiling.
Wally, help him!
Grodd thinks as the two return to the floor. Help him? Wally thinks in surprise as he watches the monster climb up through a nearby sewer grating and pull itself to the surface. It appears just outside the Dibney Youth Mission, where a line has formed to receive food. Ralph Dibney steps between the monster and the wayward teens. Linda, take the others! Go now! Run! Ralph hisses over his shoulder. Meanwhile, back at Fort Fox, the rogues are sitting in the break room, discussing one of Digger's boomerang drones. There's just a slight delay in responsiveness. The others seem fine, he says as he holds it up for Trickster to see. Trickster shrugs as she examines it from behind her mask and suggests that they take it to Thawne. Can you please take that damn helmet off, Jesse? We're in the lounge. Golden Glider points out in irritation. I'll take mine off when you take yours off, Lisa, she points out. Suddenly, Glider crosses the room and grabs Trickster, anger flashing across her face. But the door slides open to reveal Thawne looking at them all with distaste. That's enough. I'll remind you both that the gifts I've given you can be taken back, she points out as she steps into the break room. Snart doesn't look up from his cup of coffee. They're just blowing off steam, Doc. Sitting around here waiting isn't exactly helping our morale, he tells her. Thawne nods, explaining that Wally has been sighted in Central City and the rogues are being sent to contain him. And there's one more thing you four should know. We believe Grodd has led the boy to your former comrade, Mick Rory, she says. Snart finally stands and turns to glare at the woman. Rory? I thought you said he didn't survive the tests. What else have you lied to us about, Thawne? He demands. You were told what you needed to hear, Captain Snart, Thawne says, ordering them all to go and contain Wally West. Meanwhile, back at the mission, Ralph is trying to get the line of children to safety, but the monster that Mick Rory has become turns and tosses lava at them. Look out! Ralph shouts as he pushes a teenage girl to safety. Below them, still in the sewers, Wally has fallen to his knees and clutches at his head as the energy crackles and threatens to overwhelm him. It sparks around the tunnel, bouncing off the stone walls. But Grodd is there, reaching out for him.
Wally is okay,
Grodd thinks as he takes Wally's face in his tiny hands and puts their foreheads together. I'm scared, Grodd, Wally whispers back in their minds. Grodd peers into his eyes.
Okay to be scared, but people scared too. Heat, need Wally,
Grodd tells him, promising that they'll work together. Wally begins to calm down, and the energy slowly goes away. He gets to his feet and nods as he reaches for his backpack. Okay, we can do this, right? We can stop that thing? Wally thinks to his friend. Right, he thinks as he reaches into the backpack and pulls out the suit that he took from Barry. What could go wrong? Wally thinks as he stares at the strange suit. On the street, Rory is sliding forward, reaching a hand out for Ralph and the fallen girl. But suddenly, Wally is there in a blaze of energy, slamming into the magma monster and knocking it away. Ralph stares at Wally and his green monkey in shock. Wally? What are you wearing? He finally gasps. But Wally shakes his head. Not now, Mr. Dibney. You just need to get out of here, Wally shouts as he turns back to the monster. He rushes forward again and reaches out to hit the monster with a burst of energy. How do I stop this thing, Grodd? Wally yells to his friend.
Not stop. Help. Heat. Wally, take heat.
Grodd thinks to him as Rory reaches for them once more. Wally reaches out, trying to channel the energy that is emitted from his body. Suddenly, there is a spark that passes between the two of them. Raw energy begins to surge and hits them both. Wally lets out a scream as he is lifted into the air, pain surging through his body. But suddenly, it's gone. He opens his eyes and stares into a strange realm. Stars sparkle in the distance, and a voice suddenly speaks. Wally? The voice calls. Who is that? Who's there? Wally calls as he turns. Something seems to reach out, a swirling visage that begins to solidify. Wally watches as a hand begins to form and reach for him. Fear begins to overwhelm him. No! Stop! Wally shouts. But suddenly, he is back on the street, and Ralph Dibney is leaning over him. Wally, are you okay? Ralph asks with concern. Wally struggles to his feet and looks around in shock, unsure of what happened and where he went. But he doesn't have time to think about it, as Grodd shouts into his mind and points to a human McRory.
Wally, help!
Grodd calls. Linda joins Ralph, both trying to talk to Wally and figure out what is going on. But they are interrupted by the sound of approaching helicopters. Wally looks up in fear at the military choppers. Grodd rushes forward and jumps on the teen's shoulder. Suddenly, there is a burst of energy, and Wally and Grodd disappear in a flash of super speed. Back at the base, Thawne watches the GPS monitors, watching as the red locator signal suddenly moves away at super speed. He's on the move again, she says as she turns back to the rogues, ordering them to head into the city and bring him back. We need the boy back unharmed. I'd prefer Grodd in one piece too, but he is expendable if necessary, she explains. Captain Snart doesn't move. And McRory? He asks. Thawne sighs and nods. Rory is to be contained. Colonel West will take point on that. But she pauses and looks around the room, suddenly realizing that Colonel West isn't with them. Deeper in the fortress, Colonel West uses Barry Allen's security card to access the areas that he isn't authorized for. The door slides away to reveal a strange alien craft. Colonel West stares with shock, but he turns at the sound of machines from the next room. He steps through a doorway, and his eyes widen as he looks at stasis tanks containing alien bodies. The real secrets of Fort Fox. And that was the complete story for Absolute Flash, issue 5 by Jeff Lemire. Wally has finally donned the Flash suit and fought against Heatwave. But what's with these alien bodies in Fort Fox? If you're interested and enjoying this story, leave a comment below, like the video, and subscribe to the channel for videos every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. I'm Dan with Comicstorian, and we will see you next time. Rest in peace, Benny.